Maher, extraordinary events on Tuesday with Morocco conquering their first ever World Cup quarter final. What's the reaction been like back in Morocco?
Scenes everywhere, not just in Morocco, obviously in all the major cities, Rabat, Marrakesh, Casablanca, Fez, Tangiers, also in European capitals. I've seen London, I've seen Brussels, Amsterdam, and the Champs-Élysées in Paris is absolutely flooded with Algerians, Moroccans, and Tunisians, everyone celebrating this historic victory. Morocco, only the fourth African team to ever make a quarterfinals appearance.
Mm. The penalties, which extraordinary performance first of all from Morocco's keeper Bono, but also that final decisive moment when Hakimi stepped up to take the kick that would put them into the quarterfinals and pulls off a Panenka.
It was an interesting one because leading into the penalty shootouts, I mean, the last time we had seen Morocco in an important penalty shootout was the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, where they were eliminated against Benin, a team whose mascot is the Squirrels. That time around, Yassine Bono hadn't saved a single penalty shot. So we were all kind of iffy, like, how's it going to go this time? And also, Hakim Ziyech missed a very important penalty at the end of regulation in that match. And I thought it was a real test of mental strength, of mental fortitude. I mean, Bono goes the right direction every single way. And I thought the penalties were pretty well taken, with the exception of the third one, Bedr Benoun. But yeah, just incredible scenes at the very end, though. You see the players, swarming one another, celebrating with the fans in communion. I thought it was just great to see.
How important is it as well that they've done it with the first ever African manager to reach that point in Regragui?
He's a star. This new blueprint in African football, how they're giving chances to former internationals. And it started with Senegal's Aliou Cisse. And he's done a fantastic job over the last 7 years. Algeria copied that model with Jamal Belmadi in 2019, also to very much success. And then now we're seeing it all over the place. Guinea with Kaba Diawara. We're seeing it Mali with Eric Sekou Shele. We're seeing it Benny McCarthy, I'm sure, is going to get a South Africa job very soon. And the most recent example is Walid Regragui. And it's worked because Regragui, especially in contrast to the former coach, Vahid Halilodzic, he's very much of a unifier. He's the kind of guy that's going to put his arm around your shoulder and he's going to get you to play for him. He said this about Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech, we know, can be pouty and he can be broody and moody, but he often says in the press, if you show him love, he's going to kill himself trying to fight for you. That's what he said on 2 occasions during this World Cup. So Regragui, for me, is very good at man managing, especially. And tactically, I think he set up his defensive side very, very well. They play this 4-3-3 where they spring you counterattacks on you. They hit you on set pieces as well. And he's only conceded in 8 matches now 1 deflected own goal. I mean, that's a great record. And in tournament play, where you can sort of get by, playing good defense, and then when you have a goalkeeper like Yassine Bounou, I mean, that gives you a chance against anybody. So great job by him overall.
Okay. The prospects for the Portugal game do look complicated, though not least because of the number of injuries that Morocco picked up in this clash with Spain. I don't know how long-term those knocks are going to be, but Soufal, Saiss, Aguerd, all having to leave the field. Or actually, I think Saiss had to stay on even though he'd done his hamstring. What do you think about their prospects against Portugal?
Yeah, it's a weird one because Morocco have actually been playing, their fullbacks, especially Hakimi and Mazraoui, have been playing with knocks throughout this tournament. I don't think their depth is actually that good. I think Regragui loves his 11, 12, 13 player rotation. He doesn't like to really dig into the bench past that. So that's why them using their 5 substitutions today and it going well, I think was a great deal. It's a great boost of confidence for them. Now, against Portugal, look, I mean, they weren't favorites on paper against Spain today. Spain are obviously the more talented side. Portugal are probably going to be the more talented side. So how do you beat a side when you're outgunned, when you have players that are much better than you on the field? Well, you beat them with tactics and you beat them with intangibles. And I think this Morocco side has a lot of intangibles going for them. I mean, one of them is the home field advantage that we've already spoken about at length. The other is just, I don't know, sometimes you can feel this sort of momentum, this zeitgeist behind, a national team. I can sort of feel it now with Morocco. They do like quirky things, like they invite all of the players' parents to stay with the team at the team hotel. And you see these really heartwarming viral photos of, the Moroccan players like Hakimi, kissing his mother after. And it's all warm and fuzzy. And I think that actually does motivate a lot of the players as well. So I think the intangibles, the home field advantage, Walid Regragui setting them up tactically, that's how they're going to have to beat Portugal. But at this stage of the competition, they're not going to be scared of anybody. They're playing with house money now. So just, have at it.
Well, that was interesting, Tim. You live blogged this game. Before the penalties, we had 120 minutes with no goals, and from Spain, only one shot on target.
I normally hate games like this, but I actually found it really absorbing, to be honest. It's just Morocco kind of walking wounded at the end. We mentioned the injuries there. Saiss had one hamstring left at the end. I couldn't believe it when he stayed on. Mazraoui and Hakimi, probably two of the best fullbacks at the tournament. You lose one of them. They're all absolutely shattered.
I don't know what was going on with Spain, whose manager, Luis Enrique, had talked about how his players have been off and practiced thousands of penalty kicks.
Yeah, it was a suspiciously round number.
I bet they didn't practice them with 10, 15, 20, 25,000 people whistling, which the noise apparently in that stadium, when I've seen penalty shootouts at AFCON, it's particularly in the final where there was just like, they seem to make this huge amount of noise to try and put off players. And the Spain players did look like Busquets looked a bit frightened with his penalty, I thought. So it might have worked.
They're very tentative. And it's kind of Spain going back to I think newer football fans maybe kind of see Spain as this sort of dominant force, particularly obviously winning 3 tournaments in a row, 2008, 2010 and 2012. But historically, they lose a lot of penalty shootouts. They've now overtaken England for penalty shootout defeats at World Cups. And they struggle to get through tournaments. That was the 5th knockout game in a row where they'd gone to extra time. They do struggle to break teams down. They obviously won 7-0 in the first game, and everyone was like, they're back. But they weren't back because their next 2 goals, their final 2 goals of the tournament, came from around 2,700 passes, which now we know you can break a team down in different ways, but it did become almost self-parody in parts of that game.
It was ridiculous. 1,000 passes today for one shot on target. Like aesthetically, very nice. Technically excellent. Some people will sort of pleasure themselves silly over watching that style of football, but where's the variety?
It's heading home to Spain.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, Luis Enrique after the game said he was really happy with the performance, and
Really?
he said, he said they represented my style and my idea, and they did what I wanted them to. So it's on him, really.
Hello there. If you've enjoyed this video, why not subscribe to this channel? And if you'd like more Totally Football Show content, then just search for us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Not an Athletic subscriber yet? Then just head to theathletic.com/totally to find out our latest entry offer.